What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast, and today we're going to be discussing a few things. We're going to be discussing what it means by Gary Gensler's going to wait on some regulatory clarity from the U.S. Treasury and what that means. We're going to talk a little bit about Brad Garlinghouse's interview with Thinking Crypto. We're going to dig a little deeper. And then also, I found this interview with Brian Brooks and what he plans to do at Binance US. So, we're digging a little deeper into these topics because there's a lot of nuggets of information and it's a lot to fit into just, one video. So, that's why we're spreading it apart. But I think you'll find it interesting to see what's happening. Now, to start off with, today we're gonna look at this, and I think this Leader Summit on climate is something that's gonna be um, that's propagated through the mainstream media, and you bet your bottom dollar it's gonna be the new big thing. And if you're not um, if you're not compliant with the new regulations that are coming in, excuse me, then you might be outregulated, or you might not be in the mix, and that's why proof of work is something to you know keep an eye on because it expends a lot of energy. Okay, so just something I thought I'd bring up, and this is happening today, by the way. And so if you thought this Black Swan event that happened in 2020 is the end and that we're going back to normal, I think again because this is now something that's going to be pushed, and you bet your bottom dollar it will. Now, this is, I want to bring this up because apparently the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, is waiting for some direction from the Treasury for the overall policy of crypto regulation before he develops a specific regulatory approach for crypto. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that the US Treasury has declared XRP as a currency. And don't take my word for it. See what Brad Garlinghouse has to say.
Even here in the U.S., the Department of Justice has viewed XRP as a currency, and the Department of Treasury has viewed XRP as a currency. Even here in the U.S.
So, is he waiting for direction for other cryptos? Because according to the U.S. Treasury, they think that XRP is a currency. So this is interesting. Um, and I think that this SEC case, once it's said and done, it it's gonna give XRP all the clarity it needs. And I'll show you a video from the interview with Thinking Crypto, in which he talks about uh, this very same thing. He asks him, "What's the next big thing?" Okay, but before we move on to that, I just want to ask the question: what is Gary Gensler waiting for? XRP is in the clear, so is this something for all of the crypto space, right? What does that mean? And this is maybe he's waiting also for this case to be done, because if when he was confirmed as the chair, he could have made big moves to try to get this case resolved, I believe. And so that's why you got to ask the question: what is Gary Gensler waiting for? Now, this is interesting because uh, Thinking Crypto asks him a very good question. Take a listen.
Your thoughts on that, because you're on the building side, and do you see anything new on the horizon that you guys are paying attention to? Like, you know what, I think this might be the next thing that might be big, and in the crypto industry and blockchain industry.
I mean, I'm going to dodge that question. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm dodging that one.
Okay.
It's not because, I mean, question.
That might be big, and then blockchain.
Okay, so you see his reaction. I'm just going to skip through because it replays it.
Dodge that question. just going to tell you right now, I'm dodging that one.
Okay.
It's not because I'm not trying to answer. It's like I'm not going to, share. Here's what Ripple thinks are the next kind of big misunderstood or not fully seen opportunities. Look, I think NFTs are here to stay. I think, as you said, the tokenization of many, many assets, I think, is underway. And I think that's exciting.
Tokenization of all assets is underway. And so the next big thing is he's not going to talk about it, but I think he makes it very clear that we're going into a digital age. Everything will be digitalized or digitized, and so it's going to be exciting. The last step, I'm telling you right now, the last thing XRP needs is this SEC case to be over with, and have like a clear understanding and guidance of how much the SEC can regulate and how these digital assets are going to be regulated. You know what I'm saying? So that's the last thing we need to figure out. And I think that's what this case is about. The SEC versus Ripple is how much power does the SEC get to have in terms of its regulation for these assets, or does it even get any? And that's the question. And that's what what the whole fuss is about. Is the U.S. doesn't really have uh, a regulatory sandbox to kind of allow for this innovation to happen. It's just kind of like a mumble jumble mess. So another thing is this uh, Congress is now, or the House is talking about you know the direction of the CFTC and SEC, and how they're in a war over digital assets, and how regulatory framework is needed. And so listen to the first couple minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but take a listen to what he has to say.
The barriers to eliminating the Barriers to Innovation Act. This is a bipartisan bill that addresses the much needed collaboration between the Commodities Futures Trading Commission and the Securities and Exchange Commission. What we have is a regulation of commodities through one entity of our federal government here in the United States, and regulation of securities by another entity of our government. What we need is conversation between those two entities about the nature of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. We have neither a security nor a commodity in what is a new creation of digital assets. Now, what we see with the CFTC is that everything is a commodity in their worldview, and the Securities and Exchange Commission thinks, well, you're close, everything's actually a security. And so they each want to regulate something that is not in their nature to regulate, or not in the substance of their capacity to regulate. And so we have neither fish nor fowl, neither security nor what the Commodities Futures Trading Commission wants to regulate in their world. And so you have neither fish nor fowl when it comes to this new creation of cryptocurrencies. The fact is that the Bitcoin white paper
and so that just kind of goes to show that they might be overreaching in terms of what they should be regulating, and how they go after these digital assets. And so I thought that was a very interesting video, and it's the conversation is gaining traction, and that's what we can see all in terms of the House. Um, this is a perfect example of that. Now, I've been talking about Binance US, and for very good reason. And I think that this man here is very intelligent, and the reason I think that a banking charter might be in the works for Binance US is because look what's happening with all these, obviously with the Coinbase listing, Kraken applying for a banking charter, and all sorts of things. Now, he listen to what he has to say, then I'll comment some more.
We're at a place in this market where it's a $2 trillion market that needs some channeling, right? It needs some directionality. And that's what we tried to do in my last role running the Office of the Controller of the Currency, is to demonstrate to people that these are not Cabbage Patch Kids. These are not collectibles. These are tokens powering fundamental financial networks. And that's why the cryptocurrency market has gone from $0 to $2 trillion in only 11 years. What I hope to do at Binance is use that platform to bring those technologies to the market in a way that's safe, easy, inexpensive, and accessible to more Americans and ultimately more people in the world.
So he wants to bring this, make it easily accessible to other Americans so they can use it. And he also says it just needs some, in the beginning, listen again, he says it needs a channeling in the right direction.
We're at a place in this market where it's a $2 trillion market that needs some channeling, right? It needs some directionality. And that's what we tried to do in my last role running the Office of the Controller of the Currency, is to demonstrate to people that these are not Cabbage Patch Kids.
See, and so that's why I think, like, to bring some legitimacy to Binance.us, a banking charter would not be out of the realm of possibility, or even a direct listing like Coinbase. And that's just going to open the floodgates. And this is a snowball effect where it starts small and then starts growing and growing and growing and getting bigger. And that's why I think that him being at Binance gives it more legitimacy. It brings more legitimacy to this space. And that's why I think it's important that he's there right now. I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe, comment below. What are your thoughts on all this? Where do you see this all going? There's a lot happening. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.